What up, photography gang? In today's video, we're gonna find out the question that I feel like every photographer should answer for themselves is, what is my favorite focal length? Are you a 35mm shooter? Are you a 50mm shooter? Are you a 28mm shooter? Or are you completely something else? Quick side note is I slept through all my alarms and I actually missed my first flight. The one that I was supposed to go on with my cousins. So they ended up leaving me at like 8 in the morning. I then went to another airport and then I missed my second flight. So then I stayed at that airport and waited a few hours for my third flight. I tried to kill some time by napping, but I ended up just walking around and taking some shots. It actually became quite fun after just getting going and doing photo walk in the actual airport.
I'm on my way to pick you up tonight. Gonna paint the town till morning light. No time for worries, no time for fuss. Just you and me on this magic bus. We'll laugh so
on today's mission, I'm shooting with the Lumix LX100 and I'm finally going to discover if I am the 35mm shooter that I think I am, and I'm bringing you guys along with me. So the reason that I'm doing this, I want to settle once and for all whether or not I am a 35mm shooter, and then I can start focusing on cameras that have that prime 35mm focal length. Figuring out my go-to focal length will bring me one step closer to finding my perfect prime lens that complements my shooting style. So my hypothesis right now is I think that I'm a 40mm kind of guy. So that's a sweet spot between 35mm and 50mm. So a happy medium, I tell myself. I won't be surprised if I end up shooting 35mm and 50mm the most. It's kind of where I already feel the most comfortable. But honestly, I enjoy shooting it at all focal lengths and have created great images at all different types of focal lengths with all different types of cameras. So I just need some data and some straight facts to answer this question for me. And
If only you knew the way I felt, the things I do, but you do.
So how am I doing this? I'm going to do this by shooting the Lumix LX100 II. Key things being that since it's digital, it keeps the actual metadata from the images themselves, so it'll tell me the focal length. And the fact that it's a step zoom camera, I can quickly, when I'm composing a shot, just have the camera to my eye and just focus on what works best for that composition and then take that shot. And another side note that I will mention now is this wasn't a premeditated idea. This is something actually I thought of once I got back from the trip. So what I'm trying to say, I didn't have any agenda. I just went out there and shot what composition and what focal length I thought fit me the best at the moment.
The way I felt, the things I do, but you do, yes you do. My eyes, they ain't never lied to you, only to me the fool it's true. What will it take? What will it take? 3 nights out with the boys, it's true, would probably work, see me through, if I wasn't so. What will it take? Nights out with the boys, it's true, would probably work, see me through, if I wasn't so. If I wasn't so caught in your spell, you know it well, this heartache, if this living hell, if I wasn't so. My eyes, they ain't never lied to you, only to me the fool it's true. What will it take? What will it take? If I wasn't so. Stuck on you. 3 new girls.
Nothing is new. Nothing has changed.
Go away. The way you were. Go away.
So turn back to the road, guy.
Okay, so another side note is I ended up buying a camera from Glazer's Camera in Seattle. Pretty cool camera store that has a bunch of Leicas, Sonys, and all the popular cameras, even vlogging stock cameras from brand new to used. I don't know why I'm talking like they're sponsoring me. They're definitely not sponsoring me, but I just wanted to mention it. That camera ended up taking over a lot of the shots after this, and I'll just share some of those photos here. I didn't even vlog any of it. I'm not a huge fan of the camera that I ended up purchasing there, but definitely a store I want to visit in the future and purchase a more exciting camera. I'll say it that in the most polite way, because I almost bought a camera just to buy the camera.
Stuck on you. 3 new girls would be enough, it's true, to get over you. Oh, oh, oh. Used to think if only you knew the way I felt, the things I do, but you do, yes you do. My eyes, they ain't never lied to you, only to me the fool it's true. What will it take? What will it take? I used to think if only you knew the way I felt, the things I do, but you do, yes you do. My eyes, they ain't never lied to you, only to me the fool is true. What will it take? take if I wasn't so caught in your spell? You know it well. Behind this living hell, if I wasn't so. My eyes, they never lied to you. Only to me the fool is true. What would it take? 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 And the Latin infused instrumental rhythm. If I wasn't so.
So I don't know why the next day I did end up still continuing to take some shots with the Lumix LX100. Maybe I was overwhelmed from carrying around 2 cameras, but I didn't do any video or vlogging. But here are the last bit of the shots. Moment of truth at the end of this reel. So on this trip, I ended up taking about 250 shots, including duplicates and throwaways. I ended up keeping and featuring about 93 different compositions, meaning I'm not counting any duplicates. So I didn't count that as a different composition. So close to 100. And after reviewing the photos and checking the metadata drum roll, I actually shot the most with the 35mm focal length. As expected, which isn't a huge shocker to me, but glad that I did do this experiment and officially know that 35mm is my preferred focal length. And you can see here on this graph, it definitely turns out that I am a 35mm shooter. So I ended up shooting 29 shots with the 35mm focal length. I ended up shooting the second most 24mm focal length, which really surprised me. I did not expect that. I would have guessed that 50mm would have been second. And then a very close fourth is 28mm, and I took 13 shots. And then the 75mm was the next. And then my least used focal length is 70mm, which kind of makes sense. I feel like if I'm gonna zoom, I might as well zoom in all the way. But yeah, it's funny to see with actual facts and not just feelings that 35mm is my preferred focal length. So what does this mean now? So now I can just go and focus on cameras that provide a 35mm option. And if I really want to get compact with it, is I find the most compact 35mm system that I can maybe have in my pocket and carry with me everywhere. Or if I'm going for sharpness, I can buy the most expensive, fanciest 35mm focal length with whatever camera I want, and then go out into the world pretty confident that it's going to suit most of my situations and compositions that I like to shoot. There's a high possibility that with a prime lens like a 35mm, it'll improve my image quality. It'll also simplify my gear choices, create less overthinking on my end on what cameras to bring. So another thing you can also consider when going deeper with these results is how many of those from that focal length are keepers or portfolio type photos. It could also help narrow down your favorite focal length, because let's say for whatever reason I did shoot 15 shots on average with every single focal length. It's not telling that much of a story of what focal length is my preferred focal length. I can see from my results that maybe I am a 35mm shooter if the majority of those photos are keepers, or I like, or I don't crop in at all. So it's just something to think about and consider when going deeper with these results. So I did it. What about you? Are you gonna take the challenge of finding out your favorite focal length with not just opinion and a feeling or emotion, but actual cold, straight facts? You can go simple with it and see what you shot with the most, or you can go deeper like I just went over. But yeah, I challenge everyone to go ahead and do that and discover it for themselves. It's a better way to kind of look at your photography, especially if it's just travel photography and you're not actually shooting a project, to kind of just entertain yourself or inspire yourself in a different way with shooting. It was definitely a fun experiment to do, so I definitely recommend for every photographer to do this experiment for themselves and find out what shooter you really are. But that's it, guys, for this video. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope it's not too long of a video. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you found it useful, it inspired you, or you just found it entertaining, you can comment down there below or just smash that like button like my nephew says. Any questions, suggestions, you can also comment down there below. But as always, guys, happy shooting. Definitely did not hear that. We'll try that again. As always, guys, happy shooting. God damn, bro. 40-minute recording session. Dog.